This arrogant Japanese student, relying on his membership in the Black Dragon Society, wanted to expel Chen Zhen, who was studying in Japan, from the school. Guangxi stepped forward to stop him, but he actually wanted to attack a woman. Chen Zhen decisively blocked the situation, and with a heavy punch, the leader was unconscious. A younger brother attacked with a ferocious face, but Chen Zhen broke his arm. More people rushed forward, but in front of Chen Zhen, none of them could survive a single move. In a moment, these bullying guys were beaten to a pulp, screaming in pain. Chuan Yue Wenfu, the head coach of the Black Dragon Society, rushed over after hearing the noise, but he never thought that the battle had already ended, and the injured was actually his disciple, and he noticed that the other party was holding back. Hearing this, Chuan Yue Wenfu looked embarrassed. Huo Yuanjia died in a duel with Ryuichi Akutagawa, a member of the Black Dragon Society. Upon hearing the news, Chen Zhen was shocked, so he decided to get up and return home immediately. On his way to the dock, Guangxi chased him and kept asking whether he would come back to see her. In order to shoulder the mission given by the Times, Chen Zhen could only temporarily put aside his love for his children. After several days of traveling, Chen Zhen finally returned to the British concession in Shanghai. Even the rickshaw driver could speak a few words of Japanese, but the wall fell and everyone pushed. With the death of Huo Yuanjia, Jingwu also became increasingly lonely. Sure enough, he saw someone coming to provoke him as soon as he entered the door. Luckily, his senior brother Huo Ting'en had mastered the essence of the mysterious fist. He took the lead with a flying kick in the air, and then cut and hit within a few rounds. He easily defeated his opponent. After sending away the challenger, he led Chen Zhen in. After paying respect to the master's spirit tablet, Chen Zhen secretly made up his mind to find out the cause of his master's death. He took off the word Ren, written by his master, split it in half with a palm, and then kowtowed 3 times. At that time, Chen Zhen went to the Hongku dojo alone. When the Japanese saw that the visitor was wearing a Zhongshan suit, the disciples of the dojo immediately stepped forward to stop him. Seeing that the other party was so arrogant, the disciples rushed forward and surrounded Chen Zhen in the center. Chen Zhen changed his usual gentle and elegant appearance. His eyes were full of anger. His punches were fierce and his kicks were sharp. Wherever he passed, opponents kept falling. Facing dozens of well-trained Japanese warriors, Chen Zhen was unmoved. He accumulated strength and hit, smashing the devil's balls. In an instant, his punches were like a rainstorm, and his legs were like flying dragons. His opponents all fell to the ground. A man with a stick attacked him head-on. He raised his leg to block the blow. A thunderous punch followed. In a moment, the little devil fell to the ground. Akutagawa Ryuichi ordered his disciples to retreat. He wanted to meet Chen Zhen in person. The two of them stood opposite each other and took up their positions. Suddenly, Akutagawa Ryuichi attacked. Chen Zhen defeated Akutagawa Ryuichi in 3 or 2 moves. After they exchanged several moves, Chen Zhen punched the sole of his foot. Feeling the pain in his body, Akutagawa Ryuichi gradually stopped his contempt. He kept punching out with his legs and cut off the railings on the side of the field one after another. Chen Zhen used the wall to kick back in the air. After just a few rounds, Chen Zhen saw his skills. The duel afterwards was more like a tease. Akutagawa Ryuichi used all his strength, and Chen Zhen felt more and more relaxed. Every time he hit the opponent, he would stick to him and stare at Akutagawa with cold eyes. He wanted to see clearly how this weak opponent defeated Huo Yuanjia. The result was, this person could never defeat his own master, so there must be another hidden reason for the master's death. Back at Jingwu, Chen Zhen made a bold decision. He brought out the master's body again. He would rather bear the name of being disrespectful and disobedient, but he also wanted to find out the truth and avenge his master. He took out his liver for the doctor to test, and the result was as expected. The master was poisoned to death. For a time, people in Jingwu were in a panic. With the return of Chen Zhen, he first defeated Akutagawa Ryuichi, then found out the cause of his master's death, and he quickly won the favor of his fellow apprentices. In order to restore the glory of Jingwu, he combined traditional martial arts with modern boxing. Using this unique way of practicing martial arts, he led the disciples of the martial arts hall to practice every day. He firmly believed that the only purpose of Kung Fu was to knock down the opponent. Everyone wanted to learn real skills from Chen Zhen, but they forgot that Huo Ting'en was the owner of Jingwu, which made Huo Ting'en feel a little hostile. On the other hand, Akutagawa learned that Huo Yuanjia was poisoned to death, which made him, who believed in the spirit of Bushido, feel a great shame. Unexpectedly, Fujita was ruthless to his own people. He grabbed Akutagawa and broke him in half. He also threw Akutagawa's body at the entrance of Honku Dojo, accusing Chen Zhen of doing it. The disciples of Honku Dojo did not know the truth and fought in Jingwu. Huo Ting'en was not to be outdone, and the two sides fought. Fortunately, the police arrived in time and stopped the fight. It happened that Chen Zhen came back running at this time. Under pressure from the Japanese, they had to take Chen Zhen back to court for trial. When the trial started the next day, the Japanese army found several stupid and even blind witnesses, who pointed out that Chen Zhen had killed Akutagawa Ryuichi. Personal grudges escalated into political struggles, and the situation began to become serious. Fortunately, Guangxi appeared in time. She sacrificed her reputation and woven a lie, and Chen Zhen was finally acquitted. Guangxi traveled across the ocean for love, but at that time, the contradictions between China and Japan were deepening, and Jingwu would never accommodate a Japanese woman. Huo Ting'en took the opportunity to attack Chen Zhen, so the two sides agreed to a duel, and the loser would leave forever. Huo Ting'en flashed forward, and his mysterious boxing was fierce and decisive. Facing Huo Ting'en's fierce boxing style, Chen Zhen only defended and did not attack. He did not expect that Huo Ting'en, who was a fellow disciple, would be so fierce. He took advantage of Chen Zhen's passive defense and kicked him several meters backwards with a hook kick. Fortunately, Chen Zhen had solid basic skills. After supporting himself with one hand, he stabilized his body and avoided the opponent's attacks one after another. After suffering a series of setbacks, Chen Zhen finally decided to fight back. From the previous battles, it can be seen that Huo Ting'en's moves were very open and closed. Chen Zhen countered his moves. While punching and kicking, Huo Ting'en kept showing flaws, but Chen Zhen just stopped at the right time. Who knew that Huo Ting'en took advantage of his inattention, and after several punches, he kicked Chen Zhen to the ground. Chen Zhen heard the sarcastic remarks from his fellow apprentices behind him, and he decided not to hold back. When he saw the opponent attacking, he turned around and kicked, and Huo Ting'en fell to the ground. Then Chen Zhen changed his pace and used mixed martial arts. In just a few rounds, he beat his opponent so hard that he could not resist. Huo Ting'en was no match for Chen Zhen, and Huo Ting'en was willing to give up the position of the owner. Finally, Chen Zhen kowtowed to his master 3 times, and then he left Jingwu with Guangxi. But now everyone in the city pointed fingers at him, and he had nowhere to go, so he could only build a straw hut next to his master's grave, intending to use it to keep vigil for his master. Soon, the Japanese found Jingwu, and they challenged him in the name of Chuan Yue Fumio. Chuan Yue Fumio was extremely dissatisfied with Fujita's presumptuous decision. He did not go to Jingwu, but found Chen Zhen, wanting to have a friendly duel. The fight between the two of them was a true martial arts exchange. Chuan Yue Fumio was known as the best master in Japan, and his martial arts attainments were beyond doubt. But just as he was about to start, he kept calling for a stop, changing shoes or taking off clothes, and doing pre-match warm-ups. Just when Chen Zhen's patience was exhausted, Chuan Yue Fumio suddenly attacked, and he kicked him back several meters. This is often the case when masters fight. One move is slow, and the other is slow. After Chen Zhen was kicked hard, he jumped up and punched twice in a row, gradually recovering from the disadvantage. The two of them instantly started a fierce melee. Chen Zhen's footwork became more and more flexible, and he used the footwork of boxing and the fighting style of Muay Thai to successfully fight back. Seeing this, Chuan Yue Wenfu followed suit. Both of them were already using all their strength. Chuan Yue Wenfu kept hitting with his knees, but Chen Zhen found the right opportunity and hit him in the chest with a headbutt. Chuan Yue Wenfu suddenly threw a punch, and the two of them fought hard in attack and defense. The hearty fight made them both feel extremely happy. At this time, the autumn wind blew, and the fallen leaves mixed with straw drifted everywhere. Chen Zhen, who was facing the wind, did not feel anything unusual, but Chuan Yue, who was standing in the wind, could not open his eyes. The two stepped forward again. Chen Zhen threw a set of combined punches, and Chuan Yue Wenfu was beaten back step by step. When Chen Zhen was about to end the fight with thunder, he realized something was wrong, and he stopped immediately. The two of them decided to fight again with their eyes blindfolded. As their fists and palms met, Chen Zhen and Chuan Yue Wenfu attacked at the same time. They fought back and forth just by listening to the sound. Chuan Yue Wenfu punched, and Chen Zhen kicked back. After dozens of rounds of fighting, they were still evenly matched. In the end, they both fell to the ground at the same time, choking each other's necks, and neither of them could do anything to the other. Although the battle was not decided, they both had a very enjoyable fight. Chuan Yue Wenfu specifically reminded Chen Zhen to be careful of Fujita, who was known as a robot. Late at night, Huo Ting'en found Chen Zhen and taught him the mysterious fist. Seeing the two brothers reconcile, Guangxi wrote a farewell letter and chose to leave alone. Chen Zhen said goodbye to love and returned to Jingwu again. The two of them came to the Hongkou dojo, and Fujita had been waiting there for a long time. He first shot and killed the traitor of Jingwu, then picked up a plaque with "Sick Man of East Asia" written on it, and said that if they lost, he would give them this plaque. Hearing this, Huo Ting'en was extremely angry. Unexpectedly, Fujita knocked him several meters away with just one blow. Huo Ting'en stepped forward again, but saw that his fists did not hurt his opponent. Even when he attacked Fujita's vulnerable parts such as the head, Fujita was not hurt at all. After using a headbutt to take Huo Ting'en's attack, Fujita punched twice in a row, and then kicked out. Huo Ting'en's blood surged, and he fell to the ground instantly. Fujita threw the plaque out, and Chen Zhen was also ruthless when he saw this. He kicked the plaque into pieces directly, and he jumped and knocked Fujita back several meters. Unexpectedly, Fujita remained calm, and then the two of them fought. But Chen Zhen had the same shortcoming as Huo Ting'en, that is, insufficient strength. Every time his moves hit Fujita, he could not cause him serious damage, and he gradually fell behind. Wherever the two of them went, the surrounding objects were destroyed. At this time, Chen Zhen seized the opportunity and rushed towards Fujita with 3 consecutive kicks in the air. He turned over and threw a flying kick, knocking him down for the first time. Fujita was worthy of the title of robot. He quickly stood up and became more and more courageous. His continuous attacks made Chen Zhen miserable. His heavy headbutt made Chen Zhen's head bleed. Finally, he kicked Chen Zhen to the ground. Just when Fujita was feeling proud, Chen Zhen got up again. He knew that this battle was about national dignity, so he began to wave his hand and take the initiative to provoke. The fight between the two of them had just begun. Fujita was extremely strong, and there was no advantage in a head-on confrontation with him. Chen Zhen, who found the problem, stopped fighting hard. He kept changing his moves while swinging his fist. Fujita was kicked out of the yard by Chen Zhen, and blood was flowing from the corner of his eye. But Fujita had been famous for a long time, so he would not give up so easily. Soon, with his extraordinary physical strength, he punched Chen Zhen's arm and dislocated it. The situation was reversed again. Chen Zhen, who had one hand, could only passively defend. After enduring Fujita's fierce attack, Chen Zhen finally found an opportunity to jump sideways. They both fell into the house at the same time. Chen Zhen actually took the opportunity to heal himself. Fujita stood up and attacked again, but Chen Zhen was already able to use boxing. After a fight, Fujita was hit several times. Chen Zhen used a palm strike after a series of knee strikes, and then a perfect kick in the air to end the fight. Fujita was unable to fight again. Chen Zhen wanted to take Huo Ting'en away. Unexpectedly, Fujita had no martial ethics. He actually attacked from behind with a knife. To protect Chen Zhen, Huo Ting'en stood up to block this fatal blow. Chen Zhen was almost stabbed in a hurry. He could only dodge continuously. He avoided Fujita's relentless slashing. It was not until the belt was pulled out that he got better. Fujita collapsed to the ground after being hit by several whips. Fujita rushed forward with a knife. Chen Zhen did not hold back at this moment. He used a belt to tie up the samurai sword tightly. The samurai sword became the weapon to kill Fujita. Finally, Fujita was stabbed in the throat by his own weapon and fell in a pool of blood forever. Although Fujita is dead, the story of Jingwu Fengyun continues.